I have a geopolitical expert with me from Moscow, Dr. Roxolana Zigon. Doctor, how are you?
Thank you. I'm fine. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Doctor, how should we decode Putin's new statement about Pakistan? How should we decode it? How should we take it? It's like, he wants to create a balance between India and Pakistan, or there's something more to it?
I believe that we have witnessed a completely new system of codes, diplomatic codes, in relationship to Russia and Pakistan. First of all, I would like to highlight that St. Petersburg Economic Forum is a really important international platform. Every year, the Russian President, Vladimir Putin, is giving a strong message, not only the message that covers the domestic policy, but also the message that represents a diversity of issues in relation to the foreign policy. Therefore, this year has been really different, first of all, because the first time ever in the context and agenda of answering questions to the international media, the Russian president highlighted in a special mode the issue of Pakistan. And this is already a very strong signal, not only to India, because the question mark has been raised from the Indian side, which is actually a traditional exposure of so-called Indian concern. But that was a strong signal, a strong message to the international community, international media, because it has been more than 50 agencies, international media agencies that were represented on the sidelines of the forum. Therefore, this question has become really top news. First of all, because the mode, the way the Russian president addressed the question was absolutely actually specific, let's say, or well focused on independent position of Pakistan, its sovereign right to decide its own foreign policy path, its a way or modus vivendi of relationship. And as well, of course, he highlighted, not directly, he didn't use the words Pakistan in its role as a peacemaker, peace mediator in relation to United States, Israel, and Iran. But I think that was a kind of subtone that was reviewed in his answer. Therefore, that was a completely new diplomatic line within this message, within this signal of the Russian president.
Okay. So we should take it in a positive way, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So Putin wants to create a balance between India and Pakistan. And what about, Doctor, there was a personal visit made by Moody's advisor on the 26th or 27th of May. Are you still giving them Su-57s and S-400s? Or is there something else to it?
It's an important issue that you have marked. First of all, we must pay attention that this visit from the Indian side was taking place within the context of the first international security conference that was held on the 26th, 27th of May in Moscow. Therefore, it has been a strong indication of a high concern as well as high interest from the Indian side to preserve its right to use the so-called strategic privileged partnership ties between India and Russia, and to secure the purchase of the advanced Russian weaponry as C-400 and Su-57. So these are actually the frontiers, the top weaponry of Russia. That's why I think there is a logic between the visit prior to the St. Petersburg Economic International Forum that just was finalized on the 6th of June and the visit of advisor of Narendra Modi. I would actually build a bridge between the question of the Indian journalist and the prior visit of the Modi's advisor to Moscow. If we just decode furthermore the question mark that was raised during the economic forums in Petersburg by the Indian journalist, we will find out that the question mark was in a mode to actually confirm, to hear the confirmation from the side of the Russian president that this strategic privilege partnership, which of course covers an extensive military technological collaboration, will stay intact. Because every time someone from the Indian side tries to raise the question during that kind of forums, every time it is this or another way is exposing the concern in regard to Pakistan. Because Russia and Pakistan has started developing really broad range of military ties because Russia and Pakistan actually for several years already organize the military exercises Druzhba, and it's a huge concern of Indian side. So what does it mean? So this kind of question has been underlying the previous visit of the advisor of Narendra Modi. But the Russian president, if you are attentively listen his answer, has explicitly answered. He said, well, why are you so concerned? We already have this privileged strategic partnership, and we absolutely don't care about your relationship with the United States. If you feel comfortable with this framework of our relationship, so it will stay intact. But it doesn't mean that Russia feels itself limited by expanding and widening its ties with Pakistan and other countries. It means by this answer, he actually covered two issues: the visit of the advisor of Modi about the military collaboration and about Pakistan. So I think it was a really, really strong message. And Russia is not going, Russia didn't give an answer in regard of supply of Su-57 and C-400 yet. The concern, the demand was heard. How actually it will be proceeded, let us see.
Okay, but there are two questions about it. You know, the question is, one question is that why was the need of like reassurance of this strategic partnership between India and Russia? What was the need for that at this particular forum? And why was this question raised that will Russia be giving Su-57 and S-400 to India? Why did this need cropped up at the very first place?
First of all, we have been observing since the diplomatic rule of Pakistan, its rising diplomatic power after the war against Iran started, hysteria, massive hysteria in the Indian media and within political circles of India. They openly declared by themselves that they have lost that battle. They have lost the battle not only on the military defense diplomatic fields, they have lost a decisive battle on the field of narrative. It means that the Indian narrative, in spite of its strong relationship with the United States, that started to actually to decline because this is the way how they accepted it. When the American President Donald Trump has been almost on a daily basis confirmed its special ties with Pakistan, with Islamabad, and the whole world, all the international media have been strongly supporting the peace-providing rule of Pakistan. So therefore, it was a strong punch to India. And of course, it started feeling itself insecure. And when the Russian president highlighted, because while we're decoding the sub-messages of the Russian president, we will be able to notice that he a couple of times underlined, so why you're concerned, our Indian colleagues. All the achievements you have reached is thanks to Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi. But I decode it with a kind of cautious message. You guys will, of course, continue actually your nationalistic policy until 2029, until next elections. But be aware that you're already on the way of losing your diplomatic balls and your diplomatic arguments. So be cautious because you are actually in a completely new situation. And afterwards, Indians when they participated in the meeting during the visit of Mark Rubio to New Delhi. And actually, the agenda of AUKUS was put on the roundtable again. Of course, Moscow has received it as an important signal. That's why the Indian side started to be really concerned in relationship of strategic partnership. The second important question is that if the Russian president, the first time ever, has given such a positive message towards Islamabad and to other partners in regard to Pakistan, it means there is an indication that Islamabad and Moscow are in a perfect momentum position to start developing a new map, a new roadmap towards strategic alignment, strategic partnership. That's why I think it actually created a serious ground of concern for India.
Okay. One last question, Doctor. And the question is that when is Russia going to deliver Su-57 and S-400 to India? There must be a plan to it. And obviously, the agreement has been signed. And they are supposed to give on such date. What date is it? And secondly, one more question. In our last show, you said that you had been, like Russia had been, helping out Iran in supersonic missile systems.
Russia, being a superpower nowadays in producing new technology, I mean hypersonic missiles, absolutely, without no doubt, have been transferring and helping Iran in order to develop this new generation of weapons.
So the help is still there because the American president, Mr. Trump, says that Iran is left with only 21 to 22% missiles only. So how do you take it?
No, first of all, we have to understand that a concrete date will not be exposed. It's actually confidential information, but I can only say that Moscow, Russia, Kremlin, is actually rethinking a new configuration of military and technological supply in consideration to its rising interest towards securing or building or preserving, rather, I would say, preserving a security architecture in Central Asia and South Caucasus. And of course, it is concerned of how to build the shield, the security shield along its borders. That's why I would add, or I would rather try to cover a gap of information or misunderstanding as well, because you didn't mention it in your question, in regard to Afghanistan, because a lot of questions have been raised recently why Russia has signed a military technological agreement with Afghanistan. I think it will absolutely not create any threat to Pakistan, because Islamabad and Moscow, considering also that Islamabad is inclined and seriously reflecting of its membership in BRICS, it actually applied to the membership in 2023. So, and there is a positive mode of moving together into this new domain of security architecture on the bigger space of Eurasia. That's why you should not be absolutely concerned about this military technological agreement and the military technological support to Iran. Not directed against of Pakistan, it's definitely not. Moscow is interested in parity of power, and Moscow will definitely not work in direction of empowering one party against of another. It will not be directed against of Pakistan. And considering that Moscow and Islamabad, especially Moscow, is taking very seriously, very positively the role of Pakistan in peacemaking, peace mediation, etc. So it absolutely positioned in the eyes of Moscow now on a completely new level. And I think that both parties will be in a balanced way, pragmatic, constructive way, moving towards a new strategic partnership. That's why this concern should not be placed on the table now.
Okay, got your point, got your point.